Hello there, this is Chris from EDI, and today we're going to be doing a startup walkthrough on a shot clock display. This one here is a 4-digit display. There's 4 digits here with a permanent colon with 2 LEDs. And on the back side we've got a built-in gateway unit, we call that. And this is going to take the Ethernet IP connection to the PLC and then converts that signal over into RS-485 for the sign, which is already pre-wired. And so we're going to be using an Allen Bradley L35E processor. The PLC's address is 192.168.1.20. And for the case of this demo, the IP address for the gateway unit is 192.168.1.12. Okay. So we'll go ahead and power up the unit. I've got it unplugged here just to see what it's going to look like when we power it up. And we don't have the Ethernet cable plugged in yet. And this is what it looks like when it powers up. So it gives us some information when it powers up, a B3U04-0201. And those mean something in the manual, like basically what the sign address is, what the baud rate is, already preset in the shot clock. And so that'll be information that is already been configured. The baud rate is already been configured in the RTA module here. So we'll show you what that looks like here in a minute. We've already got a sample project in this processor. So when we go ahead and connect the Ethernet cable to the gateway here, we're going to do that. We'll go ahead and connect the Ethernet to the gateway. The PLC should go ahead and establish a connection since there's already a project in here. And this is the only Ethernet IP device, and if you notice the I/O light went steady, which means that the Ethernet is talking. So basically Ethernet IP is talking to the module here. And then once we get everything configured and set up, then we'll actually get the display going here. Alright, so we're over at the computer, and the first thing we want to do before we get into the PLC is to get to our network settings. Most of the time you can just go down here and right click and open network and network information or basic network, and we want to go to change adapter settings. Now there's many ways to get here if you're computer savvy. And on this particular computer I actually have a separate network adapter. This is a USB to Cat5 cable. And I'm going to right click on this, and this is the network that's connected to the PLC, and I'm going to go to properties. And what I want to do here is I want to make sure that my computer is on the same network as the PLC and the gateway unit. Okay, so I want to go and verify that my Ethernet protocol 4 has an IP address set, and I do have that already set on this computer. My computer's IP address is 192.168.1.200. And the sign's address is .12, and the PLC was .20, if you remember from previously in our video here. Okay, so once we verified that, we can now close down our network settings, or you need to change the IP address on your computer, and we can use Google Chrome to bring up the front panel interface. So if we just type in the IP address 192.168.1, oops, I forgot a number there, 1.1.12, this is the gateway IP address. And we should see the EDI electronic display gateway main page, and this is an ED-3500 gateway model. And what it does is it takes Ethernet IP from a PLC and converts that signal into RS-485. Okay, so if we go into network configuration here, the gateway unit is in run mode. All right, so run mode means that you can't make any changes to any of the settings. You'd actually have to click this button here, configuration mode, to be able to change any settings. Now when you get your shot clock, it will have all of this information preloaded in here unless you need to change it. So the default IP address is 192.168.1.12, or whatever is written or in Sharpie marker by the network port. If you want to change that, you want to go to configuration mode, and then you can change that, hit save, and then you'll have to power cycle the gateway unit and make all of your IP changes accordingly. Okay. The port configuration has already been set up and pre-wired already. This particular gateway is set up RS-485. The baud rate of the sign has already been set. The data bits, stop bits, all of that. The ASCII port's already been set up, the proper characters, the proper delimiters have already been set, and the Ethernet IP connection, which basically these numbers here are the most important that we will use later, but we can show you that part in the PLC. Okay, so once we've verified that we have our Ethernet connected and we can get to our gateway unit, we can also verify if we can get to our PLC. Actually, Alan Bradley has browser capability with the PLC, so if we go in and put 192.168.1.200, we can actually get to the Ethernet port of the L35E Allen Bradley processor on that as well to confirm that. So now that we've done all of this, we've confirmed that we can talk to everything, and now we're ready to do our PLC software.